and welcome back to the Finding Your Feet podcast, a podcast show dedicated to helping you get closer to your true authentic self by helping you find your feet in life.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today we're going to be talking all about not letting life rush you, society's timelines of like when you should be achieving certain things, hitting certain milestones. We're going to be talking all about that, all about the pressure that people normally feel, especially like I think in their 20s and their 30s. Well, to be honest, actually the whole of their life. I feel like maybe when you get 40 plus, maybe it eases off a little bit.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah, probably not. I think it's like your whole life, and probably even going even more into school in younger years.
Yeah.
As like technology gets more and more apparent, probably, just like everyone feeling this pressure. Am I in the right place?
Yeah. So we're going to talk all about that today.
So we had a lovely little weekend in London last week, didn't we?
We did.
4 whole days. Started off at the podcast show, which was so fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was like this conference at this big it's the design centre in Islington, London, and it was like all the like cool brands that like associate with podcasts, like cool microphone brands and stuff, and like Patreon companies that help you. Spotify were there talking about loads of cool stuff that they're doing to help like podcasters connect more with their audience and stuff. And then there was like actual podcasters there as well. So we saw Caggie Dunlop do a talk, which was really cool. And we saw Red Handed do a talk, the true crime podcast. They were funny. But they were all talks like about the podcaster's journey. So it was really good for us to like learn. I feel like I learn a lot.
Yeah, me too. And I think because podcasting, you're all behind a screen.
Yeah.
It's weird when you actually like meet other podcasters. You're like, okay, these people are actually real people, and we're all in this together. It's nice to like see faces. Yeah,
like the energy there was really high vibe. It was really fun. We got tote bags with like our podcast cover art printed on them, which was cool.
Yeah, and then on Sunday we met one of our
the one and only
dear friends. He's just such a legend, isn't he? Like he just radiates the best energy. We met Mo Gowda. He said to us, come to this coffee shop on Sunday. A few of my friends are coming.
Yeah, 20 people later.
There was literally so many. And then like as more people came and then people would leave, it was just like a Sunday.
I think it was Mo Church.
Yeah, it was.
We were all dropping in for Mo Church on the Sunday in Dalesford Organic coffee shop in Notting Hill. It was so cute. Yeah, like I think everyone there thought they were just going to meet Mo and like maybe like a couple other people. So every person turned up like pretty much on their own, and then was like, oh, you could see as they walked towards the table, they were like, whoa, like overwhelmed, like what the fuck are all these people? Because you immediately think, oh, all these people know each other and I'm joining on my own, but actually none of us knew each other.
No.
So we were all like chatting, and obviously anyone that's like going to be friends with Mo is going to be like a really nice, good person. So like everyone there was really good, really nice. Like the vibes were so high. We all had so much in common. We were just chatting and having a wonderful time. It's good.
Yeah, it was. It was like true authentic connection.
Yeah.
Like it actually was like time just ran away and we were just drinking
you were
coffee,
just like
chatting.
Yeah, you so like just in the moment. It was like they're like the really sweet moments of life when you're just like you're so immersed in like just that very present moment. You're not thinking about anything else.
Yeah, I actually felt like I was like, I'm literally not thinking about anything else. I'm so here right now.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast yesterday actually. I can't remember what it was about, but they were saying how like at least once a month you should join in some kind of like community gathering, and people probably do that more than once a month like sometimes, but I thought, well, that was literally exactly what we did on Sunday, meeting new people.
Why was it saying that you should do that once a month?
Just like in terms of like tribes and keeping connection. But it was saying like having some kind of community meeting. I think they might be talking about like why like spiritual communities or whatever come together. But they were just saying it's good for like your mental health stuff, and I was like thinking you could tell everyone's vibe was really raising, just sat there meeting new people.
Everyone had like a really unexpected good day. And it's really funny because Mo is like, his happiness equation is like where what is it? Expectations meet events.
Yeah,
it's where events meet expectations equals happiness. So then if events do not meet expectations, it's unhappiness. But then this thing on Sunday was an event with a very different expectation, and the outcome of it was actually way more than what anyone had expected from the day. So everyone was extra happy. This is really funny because it's like,
yeah. And we asked Mo some life advice. Couldn't resist. In the face. How could you
not?
Yeah, exactly, because so many clips of him are like bloody viral going around.
Yeah, because he's got so much wisdom.
Yeah, and he's really funny as well, the way he puts stuff.
Yeah, he's like so direct and blunt. I actually think he's more direct and blunt when he's not on a podcast as well, when he's in person. Just doesn't hold back.
Yeah, no, definitely. But if you guys don't know who we're talking about, or you haven't listened to this episode yet, our episode with him is 77.
Yeah, episode
Why
77.
Happiness is a Choice thing. It's a great episode. After we finished the episode, we were like, wow.
Yeah.
What a man.
Yeah, he's just really nice. Like, you know, like there's so many people in the world that are like, I'm a good person. And like want everyone to know I'm a good person. But then he's someone who's actually like such a good person, but doesn't go around saying, I'm a good person. Do you know what I mean? And like, you can see it in like, when you're actually there with him in person, like you can see this like pure goodness intention behind how he is with everyone. That's, you can't really explain it with words, but then when you see it like, and you don't really like, I hardly see that in people really. Like it's very rare. So it was like nice to be in his company as well, because like it kind of like it's inspiring, because it like it just shows like how much, I don't know, if you've got like goodness intentions in your heart and you like treat everyone like kind of the same, and because he treats everyone the same, like he doesn't care about like who you are or like what you've done. He'll talk to you the same as like anyone else, and he actually does that, whereas so many people think, oh well, just don't do that. And they're all like, I think maybe it's actually our generation, maybe because we grew up with social media and it was like followers, and or someone's got followers, like, so you'll be more like, oh, with someone, whereas he's like talks to a whole range of people and he speaks to them all the same. Do you know what I mean?
Like everyone's his friend.
Yeah.
And you can tell as well, like what I loved about Sunday was that you could tell that he wouldn't have even thought for a second, oh, will this work?
Yeah,
they won't know each other. Like that wouldn't have even crossed his mind. It's like, I love you all, you're all my friends, we come together.
Let's just come together. Yeah, you know how many people would be like, oh God, I'm like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to get married and like all my friends are going to come and they all don't know each other, well, they all get on. Yeah. Like, because he doesn't approach life like that himself with how he treats people, then that's obviously not really a thought within his head to have something to worry about. Because obviously, like, there was literally like 16 people there. He can't sit there and talk to all 16 people at the same time. So actually what happened was everyone was having little conversations between themselves. Like, everyone was bonding, like, different parts of the table were like having small, intimate conversations. And yeah, like, so many people like freak out, like, but I don't know, it's just amazing. He's just like a really beautiful person. But he also said like that the theme of this year for him, because he picks a theme for every year, was flow. And you can see that as well, because he just was like, I'm going to be here, like, who says stuff like this? I'm going to be here in this coffee shop from 11 till 4 on Sunday. Come and have coffee with me. Yeah. And then goes and says that to like all his friends, and everyone turns up thinking that like they're just going to have coffee with him or whatever. And then actually, no, you walk into the room, there's like 20 people there. Yeah, it was really cool. He's a really cool person.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, if we could do that every Sunday, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Really nice bunch of people, but
yeah,
we'll stay in contact.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was really cool day. Very, very cool. Cool to meet cool people. Cool.
Is that what you wanted to say? You want to start rapping?
No. No, but what was really cool about it was like, because I was just thinking, sorry, wait, let me get my shit together. I know, I was thinking after, like, what is so cool about that is like, this is why everyone should just follow what they're interested in, do what they love, because like, we wouldn't have got to like hang out with all those cool people. I need to stop saying cool now. I've just ruined the word for myself. we wouldn't have been hanging out with all those really lovely people and got to meet all those people, have amazing conversations for hours, and obviously see Mo as well, like, and be around all them kind of people if we hadn't like decided to start this podcast stuff. And I think sometimes like people obviously like you can't, it's difficult to like devote yourself to a project that doesn't pay you any money and takes a lot of your time or whatever. Like I'm not saying don't go and just do things that are going to give you no financial reward either, but as in actually just following things that you love and you're just doing it for the fun of it is actually really healthy and important for your life too. Like because that's kind of like what this is. Like obviously like it, you have to monetize it in a way so it sustains itself, but I think a lot of the time we focus a lot on doing things just like because it makes money, or I'm not going to do it because it's a lot of work or it's a lot of effort and it isn't going to pay me much or something like that. But actually what does it pay you in? Like what does Find Your Feet pay us in? It pays us in as well as obviously a little bit of dough to like just reinvest, keep it going, all that kind of stuff. Like what it pays us in is far beyond money really. Like it pays us in friendships, like new friendships. Like we've got so many new friends because we've started this.
So many.
It pays us in like community building as well. Like everyone that listens, like, you know, having that sense of community for us is really nice, as well as like for other people, the listeners. And you know, like you get to knowledge, like the
accountability.
Accountability, yep. You know, we've got to walk our talk, but yeah, like knowledge, like the people we get to talk to and ask questions, like we're far better people than we would have been had we never done this. And who knows what like those little bits of knowledge that we've had, what that might turn us into in the future as well. Like so I think, you know, on our world, like we're really quite, I don't know, don't see the value sometimes in all of that stuff. And like, you know, that day on Sunday was like so nice. And then obviously the podcast show as well was really nice as well, like because we were there with other podcasters, we were there with other women in Monday Network, which is the podcast network we're part of, and like they're all friends, and like that was so cool. And you know, like that's really 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 fulfilling. It makes you really happy. And none of that is financial, do you know what I mean? But all of it is an outcome and a result from doing this podcast. So it's like, you know, I hate when people are like, following your passions, it's really practical advice, you shouldn't do that, like, and they shit on it. It's like, no, like, do you want to enjoy your life or do you not? Maybe you start a passion project that you don't make that much money from, but you really enjoy it and it enriches your life to the point where, you know, you get to make friends with the most incredible people that you would never have been able to make friends with before. Why? Of course, why would you not do that? You know, like there's, and also, you know, the skills you learn from it too. Like our second business is built from this business, like from skills we've acquired from this. So, you know, like I just, as well, it was a moment for me to like reflect and be like, gosh, like I'm really glad that we do this because it really enriches my life. And like, you know, it sounds really dramatic, but you know when like sometimes you have those days where you just ever think, if I died tonight, it'd be okay. I know that sounds really sinister, but like if I died tonight, I could go to sleep happy. And then so you don't live your life like that every day, obviously, but that was one of those days. Like, and whenever I reflect back on my life and think, when have I also had those moments where I felt like that? It's always when I've spent like really quality time with family and stuff like that, or you know, like a really great. It's always experiences and time spent with people. It's never like, oh yeah, I went to Selfridges and I bought this fucking top and I can go to sleep and die happy. No, like it's always like, you know, it's about it's people and actually when you're following what you love and what you enjoy, and even if, you know, if you don't end up being able to turn it into your career or something, but it's something that you do on the side that actually means you have loads of new friends from it or whatever, and you living so much more on purpose and stuff like that, is making you the richest person in the world, like you know. So 100%. Yeah,
people should measure more like what you get from things, not just financial gain.
Because I think as well, like when you start in let's say a podcast, like you can quite easily get caught up in like, oh, where am I in the charts, where are other people in the charts, how have they're working with this brand, they've got sponsor, like they've got this many listeners, or how many reviews have they got. Like, you can so easily get caught up in the metrics of looking, and you totally like kind of lose sight of like why you're doing it. And obviously like all that stuff is important because you do want to be measuring growth, and you want it to be growing and stuff so that it is sustainable, like thing that you can continue to do long term. You know, like what's the point in doing it if like no one listens? Do you know what I mean? So you know, that stuff is important too, but there's this whole load of other stuff that comes alongside of it that's like just far greater than any of that. That's immeasurable, and you can't compare it from person to person because you don't know what that other person's getting from their show or their whatever they're doing, their passion project. Like, it's just, you know, and they say your vibe attracts your tribe or whatever. But like, when you're following what you love and doing things you're interested in, like, you're gonna meet people that you're gonna really get on well with. Like, actually, I was listening to Mo on his episode that he did with Stephen, the second one that he's done that just came out the other week, and in it he was saying like Stephen was saying like, okay, like, you know what, they were talking about romance, and Mo was basically saying that like dating is like a game of economics, really, like, because he's a mathematician. Like, he was thinking of it like, okay, so your criteria is this, that means that you wipe out, obviously, if you say you like men, then you wipe out all the women. You're not obviously going to date half the population, gone. And then like, well, what kind of man do you like? They have to be this, and this. Then that wipes out loads of them. Like, so he was looking at it like mathematic equation. And then Stephen said to him like, okay, you know what I'm like I like deep conversations, like talking about ideas. Where would you say that? Because Mo was basically saying the best way to find someone that is like you're gonna be well compatible with and like potentially have a relationship with is to go and hang out places, like go and do what you love, basically, because then you'll find 100%. Them people. Yeah. And he said, so Stephen said, oh, where should I go? And he was like, well, you're really into self-development and stuff, obviously, so you should go to like retreats. He actually said, you should come for coffee with me. So maybe this little coffee get-together thing is just a thing that Mo does. He just knows what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe he does. He's Cupid.
Yeah, and he said that like when he was at Google, he told one of his colleagues like who was saying that she wanted to meet someone, but I don't think she wanted to use apps or something, or maybe they weren't a thing then, I don't know. And he said, well, you need to go, like, what do you enjoy doing? She's like, I really enjoy tango dancing. So like, we'll go do that. So she did, and then she ended up marrying the instructor.
Oh, that's so cute.
So it's like, it's so true. And it's like, you know, outside of dating, that's the same thing. Like, if you're doing things you're interested in, even if you can't turn it into your job, or maybe you can't turn it into your job for 5 years, doesn't really matter, because the things you get as a result as well of that, outside of like financial metrics and stuff like that, is really going to enrich your life. And like at the end, like, I mean, at the end of the day, you can go and have an experience and then go to bed and think, if I didn't wake up, it's all right, I'd actually be fine to die today, and be then, well, fucking hell, you're on the right track then, aren't you? Like, you need to keep doing that shit. Like, so, you know, like, yeah,
because nothing really matters. Like, it's all just noise. All the money, all the success, like, it's fun, but it's all just noise. Like, if you're enjoying the passage of time with good people, then that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
That's what gives you happiness.
Yes. Yeah. And obviously, like, as you grow, you'll probably meet more people and stuff, and whatever you're doing, like, but that's what's cool.
Cool.
That's cool.
And also that quote, you know, that I put in the email, if you're not signed up to our email, to our mailing list, then it's in the show notes. But, you know, on Monday I put that little quote in, it just made me emotional.
What was the quote again? I really like that email, but I can't remember now.
It's like a picture of like a little animal on like a panda's back, and it's like, what matters more, the destination or the journey?
Oh, yeah.
And then the reply is the company.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah, it's so true. It's like real authentic connection with good people that you value.
Yeah,
it's all that really matters.
Yeah,
literally. And if that's like succeeding in a business, like, it means more probably if you've got someone by your side or a good team or whatever. Like, if you stood there with all the success and everything on your own, it's probably not even going to feel like
I was literally I always think like, oh, fucking hell, I'd be so bored if I was doing all this by myself.
Yeah, I'd be like
when we were at the podcast show, you arrived later because you went to drop our suitcases off. So, and then when I was there at Mona, I was thinking, oh, I even got my little comfort blanket with me.
Yeah, no, I'm the same.
Well, not like a comfort blanket, but that's how it is also, kind of how it feels. Like, you're like, oh, this feels weird on my own, like, Not like you're scared on your own, but it's just not as fun.
Yeah. Cute.
But yeah, anyway, we'll go into the topic of the episode today.
If you have been feeling a little bit down recently and you can't quite figure out what is going on in your mind and you feel like you need some support, then we have the perfect thing for you. Our podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, who are an online counselling service who can set you up with your own therapist in just 2 days. So if you're struggling, you simply go online, fill in a questionnaire, and they will match you with a perfect therapist. And then once you're matched with your therapist, you can start talking to them, whether that's over text messages, phone calls, or video calls, and get the support that you need.
And how BetterHelp works is you sign up for 1 month at a time. And we also have a discount code for you. So if you use the code Finding Your Feet, just go to the link betterhelp.com/Find Your Feet, and the discounts are automatically applied on that link. But you will get 10% off your entire first month of therapy. And the way it works is you're not tied into like a contract or anything like that. You just pay for the month and then it's just like rolling. So if you want to do another month after that, then you can. Like when I've done therapy before, like I've only ever needed like a month. So, you know, that can just be enough. And because it's done online, it's a lot more affordable than face-to-face counselling. Plus, obviously, you get 10% off as well. So it's a lot cheaper than therapy that you might get face-to-face with someone in your local area. But it's just as effective. The therapists are extremely highly qualified. They're all vetted and have really high expertise to get on the BetterHelp platform. So you are in good hands. And there's hundreds of thousands of users of BetterHelp all over the world. So they're a very reputable, good company. But just head to the link betterhelp.com/Finding Your Feet. That is betterhelp.com/Finding Your Feet to start your therapy journey today. So after that inspirational tangent, we will dive into the topic of today's episode. But I think what people find really difficult, and it starts to hit them once they leave school, whether that's like college or school or university, like depending on what you did. But you basically have experienced your entire life with your peers doing the same things year on year. Like you've all hit the same milestones and everything at the same time. You all graduate at the same time, unless obviously you get held back a year or something like that. But generally, like you all progress and do the same things at the same time. And then when you leave education, you all go off out into the world. Some people go traveling, some people go straight into a job, some people want to take a break first, some people don't know what jobs they want, they jump around, all this stuff. Like some people buy a house and get engaged really young, some people don't, like some people have babies, some people don't. Like everything starts to everyone starts to live different parts of their life at very different times. And sometimes, well, not sometimes, most of the time, people really struggle with that because they've been so used to like, oh, well, I'm in this, all my friends were in the same year at school, all doing the same thing. And then all of a sudden you're not in that environment anymore and you're all doing very different things. And you can start to measure your success and value as a person based on like these sort of milestones that like society kind of tells you that you should hit at certain times, but also from looking at your friends and being like, oh, they're doing this, I'm not, blah blah blah, and then you just end up not enjoying your life.
Yeah, no, and I think it's so easy to be like swayed by what everyone else is doing, because obviously like back in the caveman days, like we want to follow the tribe to stay alive. Like our brains are wired to keep us alive, not to keep us happy. So when everyone starts doing different things, you are going to literally question your own life and think, should I be doing that? Should I not be doing that? And it like requires you to dig really, really deep, I think, into thinking like, actually, no, this is my path and I want to do this. And the more you work on like really thinking, no, this authentically makes me happy, the more you'll feel more secure in that. Because it's so easy to think, oh my God, well, they're all doing this. Should I be doing this? And then even as well, like you might have conversations with people and they might not even realize, they might be thinking, oh, like say, for example, Abby's not doing this and everybody else is. Should I be doing that? So then they're like, well, why don't you do that? Do you know what I mean? Like they're like highlighting to them, maybe, should I be doing that? So basically it's just all this like little mind game. But I think the more secure you are in like and knowing what truly makes you happy and what you want now, the easier it is to like just let all that noise not sway you. Yeah.
I think if you're being honest with yourself and you're following what like your, you know, heart is telling you that you actually want to do, then that comparison just doesn't really get to you. Because the grass is greener where you water it, and you will be focused on just watering your grass. And like, life is long, and if we're lucky enough to live a long life, and you know, like, there's so much time to do all these different things. Like, there's no kind of rush, and it's like, but you feel this weird rush because, like, everyone says you need to have your shit together by the time you're 30 and stuff like that, but it's like, do you? Like, I still think 30, I think it sounds so young. Now I'm 25.
Yeah, no, it's only 5 years away.
I think it sounds so young.
No, so do I. What's that quote that's like, some people die at 60, but not 60, like 80.
Yeah.
But, do you know what
So yeah, it's like some people, yes, most people die at 80 or whatever, or something like that.
But stop living at like 20 or 25. It's so true, because people put themselves in a cage thinking, like, say for example, the example of traveling, like, some people might get to say like late 20s and be like, I love to go traveling, but they'll be like, oh no, people do that in their younger 20s, not going to do it. And it's like, that's just complete bullshit. Like, as in, like, society's just put that on you, but you've just put yourself in a cage and you've stopped living, when really, like, that's like the most ridiculous thing when you actually zoom out and think about it. Yeah,
it is. Like, you can do all the things that, like, whenever you want to do it, really. Like, but what I've personally found, because I'm not saying I've never had moments where I'm like, oh, am I behind? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Like, this person's doing this, blah blah blah, and comparing. But I found that when I actually was just kind of just doing what I wanted to do and kind of pushing myself each day to, like, my maximum potential that day, and I was, like, taking my dreams, ambitions seriously, and, like, actually working towards them every day to the most that I could on that day, then I found that I don't really feel the pressure much, or the comparison. Like, you know, like, I've got loads of friends that are at very different life stages, like all kinds of different stages, and, you know, you can so easily sit there and hear someone telling you, like you can, like, for example, like, I was sat there talking to my mate the weekend, and she was like, oh yeah, thinking buying a house in like a year, moving back out of London, going back home, buying a house. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then, you know, that's her goal. And then so if I'm not secure in myself and listening to what I want inside instead of what society says, which is like, you know, get a job, be secure, buy a gaff, like, get married, whatever the fuck you want to do, all that stuff, then and do it by a certain age and blah 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 blah, then I could sit there and be like, oh god, like, should I be doing that too? Even though I'm nowhere near that. I really don't want that right now. I don't want it at all. So, but if I wasn't secure in myself and what I'm doing, then I could sit there and not be happy. And then you stop being happy for your friends as well, which is not a good thing. But then also, like, on the other side of it, so my mate was telling me that she could sit there and listen to me. It's going, yeah, the podcast's going amazing, absolutely loving it, blah, 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 this. Yeah. This other business we started is going amazing as well, really enjoying it. I think we're going here with this client, doing this, blah, blah, blah. Thinking, oh, it sounds really exciting, bloody hell. And she's sort of doing it on her own, like, time schedule, on her own terms, and she can just kind of work from wherever, and that's sick. I have to go and rock up to an office every day. Like, I'm not saying she was thinking that, but as in, you can be on the other flip side of it and thinking the same thing as well. The only way that stops you thinking all of that stuff, because we're all go at different paces anyway and do different things, we want different things. The only way you can be comfortable with that and still be able to be happy for all your friends that, like, doing certain things. Like, how many people, like, are single and they're bitter about it, and they're like, they can't stand seeing their mates in relationships and stuff, and it's just like fucking weird. It's like, no, if your friend's happy in a relationship, then that's what you want, because you want your mate to be happy. They're going to be the best version of themselves if they're happy. They're going to be a better mate to you if they're happy. So, like, you want them to be with that person. But so many people are like, I think, I'll say mainly girls, I don't know, maybe boys do this too, I'm not really sure, but, like, you know, when they're, like, secretly, like, just a bit bitter about it because they're not comfortable with their situation, where it's like, well, no, because you're not going to be single forever. So it's definitely going to change because that's what life does. It changes. So you're really going to regret not soaking up everything that like single life has to offer you. Do you know what I mean? And then in the same way, it's like, right, so, you know, you're doing all this, you're like doing passion projects, you're taking risks, trying to make things work, seeing what happens. You're not anywhere near stability of buying a house or anything like that. If you were to sit there and be like, oh, I should be doing that, blah, blah, it's just going to take you out of the moment of where you're actually at with your life now. You're not going to put the full energy into it. You're not going to enjoy it properly. You're not going to like, you know, you're just going to, you just shoot yourself in the foot because you just take away your enjoyment from what life is giving you today.
Yeah.
And that's just really actually a very sad way to live because you totally miss all the blessings you've got in this moment, and then you'll look back and be like, oh fuck, I wish I've spent my period of my life being more grateful or being more focused in that moment and like just, you know, soaking it up.
Yeah, when people say like comparison is the thief of joy, it's literally so true.
Yeah.
I think as well with like comparison, you can idolize lives or situations that, like you said, you don't even want. Like, so I think you've got to keep reminding yourself that if you are almost like jealous or comparing yourself to someone who actually you know you wouldn't even slightly want their situation, it's like you've got to remember you wouldn't take advice from someone whose life you don't want.
Yeah.
So I think it's really easy to think, oh my God, well, they're doing that, they're doing this. And it's like, you actually have no idea how they feel. Like you said, they could be actually jealous of your life. And then it's just this whole conjunction of jealousy and envy when really you could all just like learn to be more secure in your own decisions and think, this is what I want and this is what makes me happy.
Yeah, and like we can't do all the things at the same time, and also like sometimes you do kind of have to choose between one path or another, and at the end of the day you have to just make your best informed decision and just go with that, rather than like just sitting at a fork or sit like in the, you know, the fork at the crossroads rather than just sitting there for ages and ages and ages thinking, oh, should I do this or maybe I could do this or blah blah blah. You know, you just got to choose. You just got to choose a thing and decide to do that and then go with that.
Yeah, and accept it. And also keep aware that like things like advertisements will make you feel like you're in a rush. Like they are selling you this illusion that like marriage, kids, or having a house, that you have to hit these like milestones at certain times.
Yeah.
And like feeding us that literally feeds the economy. Like they kind of need to do it.
Yeah.
But you have to like keep aware of it because, you know, you're watching all these adverts and there's all these like subliminal messages about like being married equals happiness. And it's like, that's not the truth. Like if you're going to get married, you work on happiness together and it may come, it may not. But I think you've got to keep aware that that's the way the world works. The world wants you to almost rush. So to actually stand in your truth and be like, this is right for me at the time is like a really like courageous thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Something random, about me when we had our session with Elaine.
Oh yeah.
Beep 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 beep. Elaine. Everyone take a shot. They brought it up again. No, but one thing she actually said to me, I didn't explain it properly in an episode that we'd already talked about. I don't really know why I didn't just fucking say it, but I kept talking about the point but dancing around it. But basically she said to me like that she was like, don't worry about when you're going to meet someone. Stop thinking about that. And I never said, oh, I keep thinking about this. But it was a thought that would always come in my head. Because I always had this fear that I would keep working and always focus on my work because I love it so much and I enjoy it so much. And like, it makes me really happy. And then I like, you know, I could just so easily just put my energy into it and be fulfilled. But I always had this fear like, oh, if I keep doing that, I'm gonna end up like a fucking spinster with like no one or whatever. Even though I've got loads of friends and like I really nurture my friendships and stuff like that, but it was just like a rational thought that I'd always have, but I'd never like actually kind of voice it out to anyone or anything. And then she kept bringing it up in the call, the tarot call I had with her, and I thought, the hell, the universe has been listening to me, man. It's been listening to what I've been saying, and so she kept saying it to me. She didn't just say it once, she said it like multiple times throughout the session. Stop worrying about that. And she actually said, it's not the time. She was like, you actually really need to focus on your work right now. that's to come later, and who knows if that will happen, like, you know, whatever. Let's see. I'll tell you all when it comes to it. What she told me came true. But as in, I'm not like holding out for that one thing, because I just think life will just be as it is. But like, it was interesting because like she kept saying that, and I thought, do you know what? Fine, I won't. So because I wanted to not worry about it anyway, but it was like the society pressure, the rush in the timeline. I kept thinking, I could easily keep living my life like this and be happy, but I'm gonna, because basically, like, I'm not on any dating apps. I don't like going out and partying. I'm a grandma. No, I'm not grandma. I just don't like drinking. I hate drinking. I just don't. I used to drink when I was like younger quite a lot. I really hate it now. Like even when we were in London the weekend, when like see a friend and you're getting a drink. Well, nah, I want to get up tomorrow and get up early, and I want to go and do stuff. Like, I don't want to feel shit. Like, I just don't like it. Anyway, so I'm not on dating apps because I couldn't be fucked with them. You know, when like when you're like, I can't be asked this, but you're like making yourself go on them.
Yeah, if you're doing that, there's just no point.
Yeah, I was just like, I can't be fucked right now. Yeah. I just don't want to do it right now. So I just was like, nah, fuck that. Took them all off. I don't go out like partying like that. I obviously go out and do things, but I don't, usually like...
Yeah, I feel like people are more likely to meet someone like a bar or
something. Yeah, I don't enjoy that, so I don't do that. So I just live my life, really. And because I'm not in an office, obviously we're just working for ourselves from a laptop. I'm just like working from home or in a coffee shop or wherever we are. You're not in like that work environment either, where you might meet people or whatever. So I was like, that's why I had that irrational thought, like, oh god, like if I like continue to live my life as it's set up right now, I'm like not really crossing paths with anyone in that way. Anyway, so she told me, stop worrying about that. Stop worrying about it. Like, you need to stop worrying about that. You need to focus on this instead. I was like, okay, all right. And then, but when she said that, it was actually just like, it was just a permission slip for something I wanted to stop thinking about anyway. And then from that, I've just like, I've never been more content with being entirely single. You know, when people are like, are you talking to anyone? I'm like, no, there is no one in my WhatsApps. There is no one in my DMs. I am entirely by myself at full peace. I'm so peaceful right now. I'm really, really enjoying it. Like, as well, because we're focusing on so much of, I really don't want anyone to distract me right now. I don't want anyone fucking up my peace and my state of mind. Like, there's so much that I want to do that's actually more important to me right now. But anyway, I've never ever felt like this before, because like even when I was younger, I'd think, oh yeah, like, because everyone's like, you need to find someone. People always ask that question as well. You got a boyfriend? And then you're like, no. And then they're like, you'll meet someone. I'm like, I'm fucking fine actually, thanks. But like, because people are like, don't know how to respond to that question, because most people are like, they don't want to be single, so they try and run from it. I'm like, I am single right now, fully single, couldn't be more single, and I'm enjoying the fuck out of it, and I'm just letting myself enjoy it and not worrying about when it's going to change, because I know it's going to change, because that's life. So actually, like, it's just, but taking that actual energy as well to everything else in life is really actually means that when I was saying as well, I don't worry about whether I'm on the right timeline. If I'm maximizing the potential of myself, I don't worry, because I'm like, well, I'm trying my best and I'm doing what I think is right. So like, I can't really be doing any more, so what's the point in worrying if like I haven't got what Sally's got yet, or stuff like that. But it's the same with like with your life. Like, if you are just being in the phase, in the season of life you're in, and just enjoying all the pros that comes with that, because you know it's eventually going to change, then you're actually taking the max potential out of what life is giving you as well as what you're giving life. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I always like think, even things like right now, like where I'm around so many of my family members. Obviously my little bro's just moved away, sad, but like, I knew that he would eventually move away and go do whatever he was going to go and do. So I was like, well, let's hang out. I'm going to enjoy hanging out with you, because we won't get to be here together hanging out how we are at this age right now again. So it's like, just enjoy it. But it's the same with all of life. But then you can look back on your life and be like, but I gave my max potential to life, but also I maximized life's potential as well, because I absorbed everything it had for me then. That's the same with as well. It would give you the feeling of like, oh, I could die tonight and it'd be all right.
Yeah, it's like gratitude, isn't it? If you're grateful for the season that you're in, then life is going to work in your favour anyway. And things will change when they're meant to.
Yeah, and like just enjoy it. Like there's blessings in every season of your life. Like, and there's things that you'll look back when you're in a new season, you'll miss things from that old season. If you didn't enjoy that last season, then you're going to kick yourself. And that's what I never want to do with my life ever. Because when I am old and have like, if that happens, if I have sprogs and I've got like 3 kids and whatever, I'll think, oh, wasn't it fun when me and Abby were 25? We chat shit on a podcast every week and we were working together and we were messing about. We don't mess about that much. I mean, we were having fun and we were doing this and we were going there and we were so free and da-da-da. I think, oh, that was so nice. But I can go, oh, but I fucking soaked it up and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what life's all about.
It is. But there's this other thing actually that I wanted to talk about, this psychological illusion, which really impacts people and makes them feel this like pressure and rush. And it's called the end of history illusion. And I think it was Harvard did this study on it. I'll link it in the show notes and you can read the study paper on it because it's really interesting. But basically, the end of history illusion is where it's like a blind spot in your mind. It's like a psychological illusion where you can only observe like the growth, the personality changes, the progression, the values that you have that have changed. Because like probably our values now are going to be different than our values when we're 35.
Yeah,
you know, because we're going to be different people and stuff. But basically our minds can't comprehend that change in the future. All they can look at is all the history that's been made so far, all the progression and change that's happened so far, and your brain just thinks, well, this is how much I've progressed and grown and changed as a person, this is what's, you know, my values are, and but I'm probably not really going to change much beyond this point. You feel like you're going to be like this as you are like forever, even if you're happy with who you are. You think that you're going to be in this way. You're not going to change much, like there's not going to be much more growth because you've already done so much. So that's why it's called the end of history illusion, because it's your brain is thinking there's no more history that's going to be written. So it means that you will like look at the next 10 years of your life and just think you're not going to change that much, nothing's really going to change, when actually you could look at the back at the last 10 years of your life. Do you know what I mean? So we completely like underestimate what can happen 10 years in the future, but then we look back 10 years in the past and we're like, bloody hell, loads has changed. Like 10 years ago I was a kid, I was 15 at school, I was a literal child, like, you know, like I'm a completely different person now, and that's 10 years ago. But then you look, when if you think now where I'll be at 35, like 35 doesn't sound like that far away or that old, do you know what I mean? So you think, oh, probably like I'll, you know, whatever, be living somewhere else doing whatever, but probably I won't change that much as a person, but like you will. So basically this end of history illusion, like it affects everyone of all ages. I think it kind of affects people a little bit more that are younger, but the study's been done on people of all ages and everyone has it. So it's like this psychological blind spot that you have where you just think that you're not going to change much more in the future, which I think is what freaks people out with when they're now like thinking about where they are now and they're like, I'd actually like where I am, or I want to be somewhere else, or like I wish I was doing this and blah blah blah, and you just think it's the end of history, there's no more to change, you just have to accept it and like nothing, when actually that's not how life works. So our brains can like punish ourselves a little bit.
It's crazy what our minds do to us, because I think that end of history illusion makes you feel like life slows down as you get older. That like loads happens when you're younger. I think it's actually like the other way around, like life actually speeds up and more things
I think
happen.
school and stuff is really slow and you spend like 20 years of your life at school.
I always think, God,
slow,
the amount of time I spent in
boring
classrooms. But then you always think, like you think between your 30s and your 40s and your 40s and your 50s, you think, oh, probably much won't change. But that's as well because I think people, like society as well, makes you feel like that. They make you feel like you're going to get married and it's not going to be good. But you never know what's going to happen. You might have multiple marriages or you might never get married. Like, you never know. But I don't think it necessarily slows down. It just makes you feel like not much is going to change. Like you've hit your prime. I hate that. Or hitting your prime. Like, no, I'm going to hit my prime in my 50s. I'm not going to peak.
Well, yeah. Well, everyone always says as well, like, you get everyone that's like older and they comment on how it is being older. They're like, I don't feel old. In my body, I still feel how good I'd felt when I was like 25 or something. Like, maybe things feel a little bit slower, a little bit creakier, but like, you don't feel like an old person. That's what people always say. And they say as well that they just get more confident as well as each year goes on, because that's definitely true. Like, I'm way more confident than the person I was at like 21 or something.
Yeah, 100%. My absolute favourite kind of people are the ones that when they hit like the 30s or the 40s or whatever, they're nothing but grateful, and they're like, you know what, my 30s or you know what, my 40s was so much better than the 10 years prior. You know, rather than being sad, like,
oh yeah,
30,
oh my god, yes,
40.
so many people actually say like they're like, my 20s not sucked, but was so hard. They're like, 30s are way better. You've got more money. You're a bit more secure. Like, you know, because obviously
20's like figuring everything out.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. And then, in 30s, typically you have more money because you're a bit more further on in your career and all this kind of stuff. And you got a bit more income to like enjoy life. You're not living paycheck to paycheck in the middle of a city and all that kind of stuff. Like, so yeah, look, every life has seasons at every different point. Like, your job is just to enjoy it all.
Yeah, and you're just going to be so grateful. Like, if you're one of those people that feel like you're a bit older and society's like on your back, I just think we're so grateful that you're here, because so many people like aren't here, didn't get the opportunity to be here and had their life cut short. Maybe that was just their soul's path, but I just think every single birthday we should feel so grateful. Yeah,
and also I think that people spend a lot of their time feeling like maybe if they've had a difficult 10 years or difficult 20s or something like that, or they like keep messing things up, or you know, like they're trying and to figure it out but they're not finding the answer yet. Like, that you messing up and trying to figure it out, try and find the answer is actually probably leading you to the answer. And a really good example of this is actually Oprah, because she was a news anchor in her 20s and she ended up getting fired for being too emotional. And her amazing level of empathy that she's got has built her the career that she has now, where she's like one of the most iconic people in the world. She's like one of the richest women in the world. I love that quote actually. It said, if I knew that being my authentic self would make me as rich as I am, I would have done it sooner. So obviously probably when she was on a news anchor, like obviously they fired her for being too emotional, which is her authentic self, and you know, that wasn't the place for her. So she probably spent maybe her 20s thinking, oh, fuck, like, I'm not like my colleagues. They're way more like stiff upper lip, just report on the news and it's fine. Whereas I get really emotional. What's wrong with me? I'm shit. I'm not made for this. I suck. Like, could so easily go think stuff like that. But then at 32, she started her talk show, the Oprah Winfrey Show, which is now obviously the show that like kicked it all off for her and her career that she has now. Like, her entire podcast is just like reruns of the show. She's had the most iconic conversations in history on that show. And the reason why she could make that show a success was because she's being her authentic self. She's being that level of empathy and emotions that she has. She just wasn't right in the last role she was in, but she had to be in that role to get to this role. Yeah. So it's like, I think we spend a lot of our life as well, like comparing against timelines, thinking, why am I not here and this person is, blah, blah, blah. And I keep fucking everything up. But maybe you're fucking everything up because you're like failing forward. You're like failing forward to get to where you actually need to be. And it's all part of the purpose, all part of your path. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's all part of the plan.
Yeah, so I think like don't as well like waste your time thinking like, oh, I've tried that, I fucked it up, I tried that, it didn't work, and well, maybe it's all meant to not work, so you get to the thing that does work. Mic drop.
But that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We really, really hope you enjoyed it. And if you love this episode, then please send it to your friends. We would love you to share it, and also leave us an Apple Podcast review or maybe a rating. And then also there's rating on Spotify, isn't there?
Yeah.
Get those ratings up. And also, if you want to keep up with us, then come and follow us on Instagram at Fanny Your Feet
and
Podcast.
TikTok.
Yeah, and TikTok, where the more crazy stuff goes down. And even Mo Gowda actually said, what did he say to us?
Oh my God, yes.
We just get this framed.
Made me laugh. He said that when he feels a bit down, a bit sad, he goes on our Instagram account and watches our videos. Our videos on Instagram actually they're quite tame, really. TikTok's even weirder. But like, Yeah, he just said like he just gives some good vibes, and he like, you know, we're always having fun doing what we're doing, and that's nice to watch as well. So I was like, oh mate, that's so cool.
Yeah. So if you ever need a bit of a laugh, a bit of a less serious form of self-development, then go watch our videos.
Yes, at Finding Your Feet podcast.
But thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.